This week on Around the Monitor, Amy Hennig gave her 2 cents on the future of gaming, and we got our first look into the PlayStation 5. It has blast processing. Sony does what Nintendo don't. Get ready to go Around the Monitor.
Let's go.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to Around the Monitor for the week of April 19th. I'm your host, King Kaiser, and this is the weekly gaming news talk show where every point you make in the discussion is a point towards winning. Joining me once again is the unlucky tacticianer, the Green 8-Ball.
Yeah, I could just say something else, but it wouldn't make any sense to anybody who didn't tune into the show, so I'm just going to eat a stick of gum instead. So...
Can't even see his
that's the only thing I remember. That's the only scene I remember anyway.
I thought we had Dapper Dastard on this show, but maybe he went to the restroom or something. Hopefully he'll come back before we start. Oh, I see movement. This is a great bit for the podcast that we're doing.
Fine. Sorry, podcast people. I'll fulfill your needs as
well. We've got the Snapshot Crackshot, the Fisher King.
I'm still so mad at Green 8-Ball, but the needs fulfiller Dapper Dastard is just so good to me.
And we're making his return. We've got Hio 590. Anyways, going. Yeah, I said his name. Going right into it this week. Actually, some important housekeeping. One, if you're watching us live on Twitch, we do have we bring this the next day to YouTube as an edited version, which you'll see below. If you're watching on YouTube, we also do a podcast version, and we do a live version on Twitch every Thursday night around 7:30 Eastern Time. And if you're listening on podcasts, you probably know about the rest, because how you discovered this show, I will never know. But also, I put out a new video this week on the YouTube channel entitled What I Think Xbox Should Do for E3 2019. Give it a check out if you... Wait,
whoa! There's plugs at the end of the video. What is this,
dude? As I've learned from that video, you got to plug in the beginning and the end.
I've been telling you that for 6 months.
Well, this is where it starts, boys. We're gonna explode from here. Anyways,
that was all that's holding us back.
Getting right into it. This first article comes from
Aircraft Report.
Amy Hennig gave a really Amy Hennig, if you don't know, was the lead story developer on pretty much all the Uncharted series. She left in the middle of 4's development. She then went to EA to do a Star Wars game, codenamed Ragtag, that was canceled. So she really hasn't had anything to show for a long time, but she still is a hugely respected figure in the industry. She gave a panel this last week talking a lot of interesting things about the gaming industry, where it's going, game development, yada yada, but I kind of broke down some of the things she said, and I kind of want to each individually ask you different questions so we can kind of go through it more smoothly. But let's start this one off with the Green 8-Ball.
Sorry, quick sub question. Did she write the story of Uncharted or just creative director?
That was a good question.
I think she wrote it. I think she wrote the whole story.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she did too. She's very talented. But let's start this one with 8-Ball. Amy, and I'm paraphrasing this, Amy Hennig said, games have doubled in size since the last generation. She specifically stated, Uncharted 4 was twice as big as Uncharted 1. But the games still cost exactly the same. Is this tenable? Is the current market solution for this of doing microtransactions acceptable, or is it here to stay, or is there something else we could possibly try and do to help, change things up? 8-Ball, what do you think?
Couple quick notes on that. I don't think microtransactions are going anywhere. Sad to say, but
I agree with you on
as
that
long
one.
as they do it efficiently and are cosmetically based instead of gameplay based, I think it's not as bad. Or if the thing was already implemented in the game. I don't like when content is cut and then put in afterwards or as microtransactions, so they make you pay for something that should have been there originally. If they're just adding a better idea and building on their thing, that's perfectly fine. I get that, especially if it's cosmetically based or just another story or something if they like the gameplay. A big note is, I think a lot of people don't recognize when they say games are getting bigger, is the idea that games need a very unbeatable story mode. Like God tier story mode as a AAA title
Mhm.
is $60, right?
Mhm.
So like Red Dead, God of War,
Mhm.
Uncharted series, that kind of stuff, $60.
Mhm.
God tier. So I know some of them have multiplayer. I get it.
Mhm.
But if you don't have multiplayer and like a single player, and you don't have one of the other ones,
Mhm.
you actually get criticized as a game now. Like you're missing content
Mhm.
when it didn't used to be like that. You know, like Mario Kart or something like that. Just racing. It just was a game.
Mhm.
Or like you can go back to anything, Mario Sunshine or something like that, or I guess Nintendo's different. Nintendo's unique. We're not gonna group up Nintendo, but if you don't have one or the other, then you're falling behind. And I think that's a very noticeable thing now that you need to have both, or you're not worth $60.
Yeah.
Indie game is worth 20.
Yeah, that's very, very good point. I think that's kind of the way things are going.
Sorry if I sidetrack from the microtransactions, but I just think they're going to be here to stay, and there's not too much really to build off that in terms of they're here to stay unless the consumer goes away, which they're not going away. Games are always going to be a thing. It's a hobby and it's a past.
Well, kind of bouncing off of points you were making, Dapper, one of the things Hennig also said was she's talking about what she called, quote, the GameStop phenomenon, basically saying, if developers make a single-player game and there's only like a very finite amount of gameplay, say it's like 8 to 12 hours a game, then by the players, a lot of player standards, they'll look at it and say, okay, well, this game is a rental, or I'm going to buy it from GameStop and then just sell it back or return it the next week, so they can get something new, so move on to the next thing. But this completely cuts into the developer or the publisher's profits. So therefore, games are, any single player game now is this has been going on for a while. They're shoveling like a multiplayer experience in there, or creating more DLC story campaigns down the line in order to keep players from reselling their games back. I'm not sure if I have a specific question relating to this, but like, how do you think about that as a model? And I don't know, what are your thoughts on it?
She's definitely correct in saying this is a trend that a lot of companies are trying to do multiplayer, or, like she says, create the infinite game that doesn't necessarily have an end. It's baffling, though, a little to me that game companies are defaulting to this so much, because I don't actually think this GameStop phenomenon. I mean, I feel bad that, disagreeing with her knowledge, because she knows probably a lot more than I do. Wow, thanks.
No, I mean, go for it.
No.
Get her, tear her apart.
But I don't know. I don't think a lot of people really do return games to GameStop. The return is so low on it. And
hey man, power to the players.
If your game has any replay value, most people just keep it.
Mm.
And I think, and back to more why I'm so surprised developers are so relentless on infinite multiplayer games, is if you look at the 6 games that were up for Game of the Year last year, one of them was multiplayer based. It was Monster Hunter. Celeste has no multiplayer. I don't think God of War has a multiplayer. I don't think Spider-Man has a multiplayer. Red Dead does, but it's obviously not the priority of the game.
Well, one of the other things she was saying in the article is basically like the only time where you're going to see that happen is in like these huge AAA games where it's like, okay, we know that our Hail Mary is going to pay off.
But I still think there's a ton of indie games, ton of JRPGs, ton of strategies that are first player based and are still extremely popular. I mean, she's right that game companies are switching on this model, but it's confusing because every time someone's like, oh, the single player mode is dead, there's another huge batch of extremely popular and very successful single player games. So I think publishers and quote developers need to be less scared of this so-called GameStop phenomenon and trust that there's a lot of people who are totally cool with just playing through a story mode they enjoy on their own time. Not everything has to be a social experiment. I love being able to get away from playing with anyone else and just running through a JRPG with just me and the game against me as my competition. I enjoy that, and I think a lot of people do too.
Absolutely. Fisher, one of the other things that she said, other opportunities with these single player games, that devs will make these single player experiences be 30 to possibly 40 hours long, in order to prolong the time that a player is spending with the game and to possibly prevent them from sending it back. Yeah. However, the statistics show that games that long, by far, the vast majority of gamers don't finish the game. I mean, fuck, how many people actually finished Persona 5? Like, realistically. Okay, well, great, but like, realistically,
20%.
Is it only?
They are weak.
So
Just make up a number and it sounds good.
yeah, I would believe 20%. But Hennig basically remarks, saying,
I'll back you up on that. I know a lot of people that bought it and didn't finish it.
yeah,
I think they got close to the end, but eventually they just taxes you down.
Yeah.
I'll play it when I have time.
yeah. But Hennig basically said, she, as a story creator herself, she loved the stories in God of War and in Spider-Man and everything. But she was saying, like, and those games are really only like 20 to 25 hours. She was saying, she would wondered how she would feel as the creator of those games, knowing that such a huge amount of people didn't, finish the story that she had created over the course of, 4 years. What do you think about that?
Give me like the last 30 seconds of that question again.
Basically, people don't finish long story games.
Yes.
And it sucks because game developers work on these games for years, and then so many people never see the full fruits of their labor.
Yeah. You will not find a bigger advocate for hey, video games, calm the fuck down than me. Look, there is 110% a whole mentality behind people. People they want to play a gigantic 40-hour game. They want to play all of Red Dead Redemption and spend all that time bonding with their horse and figuring it all out and all the crafting. Oh God, the crafting. But look, man, I work a 9-to-5 job, or technically 8:30 to 5:30, every single day of the week except for 2. I want to sleep the fuck in on one of those, and I have to do house shit on the other one. I do not have time to play a 40-hour game. I just don't have it. Mm-hmm. And as much as I would love to be able to do something like that, that's not on the cards, man.
Mm-hmm.
A 8 to 10 hour game, even like a 6 to 10 hour game, a nice succinct experience to me is always better, because that's something I can actually finish and fully enjoy, rather than having to try and blast through a 40-hour game and miss a bunch of stuff that I would consider fun otherwise.
Red Dead, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Or just simply not finish it and then be like, well, I didn't finish it, I gave up, I'm a coward.
Yeah, you are, coward.
I know.
Hey, he did finish Persona 5. I'll give him credit on that one.
If a JRPG is not taxing me for 80 hours, what's the point?
And on top of that, I rushed through the last
abuse.
I rushed the last 20 days of Persona 5 because I just gotta go. Come on, finish the damn thing.
Yeah, it's yeah, long games. Couldn't finish Red Dead, so that's my input on that one.
Not worth it.
Hio, yeah, that's what I heard. Hio, what?
Heyo.
Oh, I thought you were correcting me on the pronunciation of your name, and I was like, have I been saying it wrong this whole time?
Got it right, honestly.
Anyways, gaming is already more popular now than it ever has been. Like, more people are playing games than ever before. And Hennig commented, hey, if streaming really is the future, and it's going to be here as quickly as some companies are predicting it will be, even if it's not, the fact that is on the horizon, that will create an even lower barrier of entry for many people who aren't, hardcore gamers or just people who own consoles now. Like, more people will be able to enter if the next system for them is $200 versus, $400 or $500. And Hennig was basically saying, how she's interested in how that's going to affect the games that we create for these people. Because she's saying, well, I don't know, can you have somebody who just wants to come in and try gaming as a hobby and then be like, okay, here's God of War, there's, 4 trigger buttons, half of your combos are you have to hold 3 buttons at the same time, tap this, whatever, that might be untenable for somebody just starting out. So kind of how will that alter the landscape of games. One of the things she said was talking about, games like Until Dawn or, goodness gracious, like Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, Detroit Become Human, games that are like super story driven, not super much in the way of like high tech gameplay. But what do you think about this?
So, I despise these story-driven games, and for the podcast here, I'm doing quotes around games because there is no gameplay to these games. You got your fucking let's take Night in the Woods, beautiful aesthetic,
oh
great
shit,
characters, very fun story. The gameplay is like a few mini games. You're playing a shitty version of DDR, or not DDR, Guitar Hero. Let's say you're playing Undertale. It's a shitty ass Bullet Hell. The first one anyway.
Okay, well, Bullet Hell is like a hard game genre.
Hey, idiot, shut up for a second and let me talk, alright?
Get
'em. Undertale sucks for the gameplay aspect. If I want to play a bunch of mini games, I already got Mario Party, which is going to wipe the floor with all your mini games. You don't have Aces High or Cheap Chase and your fucking Undertale, Detroit Become Human, your Telltale games where you're pressing up on the thumbstick. Oh, yeah, interesting gameplay right there. But, so the people who are playing these aren't gamers, dude. These are little babies playing, like, visual novels.
Okay.
Essentially visual novels for Western people.
But, good point, but going off of that, do you think that in this more streaming focused future, will we see a ton of more games in this genre be developed? Or will we also see completely new genres be developed for this audience?
So I think she brought up what, Bird Box or Bandersnatch or
yes,
one of those
Bandersnatch,
interactive shows.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, if you want to be stupid about it, like people are, it's like low key a game. It's like an interactive story. That's kind of a game. Remember those flip books where you chose your own adventure? Those are kind of video games too, from a certain perspective, right?
If you think about it, everything is video game.
If you think about it, everything, me drinking this thing, this is kind of a video game. You got to put it in the right spot to get it in your mouth. It's like a mini game. Are we going to see more of this? We're already seeing a bunch of it. Are there going to be like more AAA versions of them? People talked about Detroit Become Human a lot. It wasn't all necessarily good, but that's okay. You can write a movie about pseudo-slavery and do it better next time, and people might eat it up. You already got a bunch of indie games that are taking off with this sort of no gameplay perspective thing. And there's going to be a whole lot more of this stuff. People are going to make a whole lot of money with it once they figure out how to do it right. People are already making a decent amount of money with it. Telltale killed themselves by making too many of them all at once. I hate every single one of them and damn near everybody who plays them. Because if they're like, we're gamers too, I'm going to say, what combos are you pulling off in Night in the Woods, asshole? All right.
Damn.
The guy who streams Toontown and
Toontown is raw gameplay, though.
Toontown is raw gameplay. RuneScape, raw gameplay.
What combos you put
What
in?
Yeah.
Was that single foot combo?
Do I need to tell you guys the Toontown combos? We'll be here for a little bit.
All right.
You got
Actually, combos
7
are-
different tiers of abilities.
I'm docking you a point for that one. They counted you pretty hard.
Wow, what?
No, actually, isn't he right? Aren't there?
You got lore, which, and if you use it in conjunction with trap, your trap does like quadruple damage, but you have to lure somebody first. You have to essentially CC them for your damage to take place. If somebody's lured, all your other abilities do extra damage when you hit them. They can't attack you. There's strategy in this shit, all right?
All right. I'll give him
Give
the
me another point.
No, I won't. But
These guys, these are the Telltale players.
Is it
right?
only
These are
Telltale
the
that
stories.
you have beef with? Then you can just shit on Telltale.
Side note,
No, it's everything. I gotta
Hayo
beef
on
with.
my scale has like 10 points. I agreed with everything he said.
okay, well that's great.
Fucking genius.
And I like Night in the Woods.
Yeah, I was waiting for Dapper
From a
to fucking
non-gameplay
shoot
perspective.
back.
I mean,
Me and him both.
no, I agree. There's no gameplay in the game. It's one of the. I think it's the greatest storytelling game I've ever played. But there's no game. The gameplay is not why you play it.
Yeah, fair enough. It's like, that's a
And
lot of games.
I don't agree that it makes you less of a gamer, but
I agree with that.
I don't necessarily agree to
There's
that
a lot of
extent,
things that make
but-
you less of a gamer, I guess, nowadays, too, you know?
You're goddamn right there is.
Yeah,
But,
being
like,
a
people would
woman,
argue that if you
know.
play Angry Birds, you're a fucking gamer, and the mobile business is still selling. So does that not count for anything? Even if I don't.
That's
like
a different.
That's-
That's a lower tier gamer.
This is a whole different ball of wax that we could start talking about.
We're gonna get lost in this.
Yeah,
Stick on this.
I think
He's an anti-gamer.
I think
Gotta get good to get fucking beyond Angry Birds into the cool realms of Toontown.
All right, let's move into the next topic here. This one comes from The Verge. Basically, Mark Cerny randomly in the middle of the week did an interview with The Verge, which is like, okay, cool. Basically, talking about what Sony is planning for their next hardware. Specifically, they mentioned, what is it, ray tracing?
Sure.
Yeah, some
tracing.
fucking
Yes.
words. They said they're going to use SSDs to decrease loading times. They had a specific example showing the new Spider-Man game, which they cut a loading screen that was 15 seconds into less than 1 second. That's cool. But anyways, basically, I want to say, okay, so Xbox, Google now seem like they're flirting with streaming. Well, Google's all in on streaming. Xbox is flirting with it. Hayo, do you think that Sony going completely emu head in the sand? No, we're just going to double down. The next box is just going to be exactly what you expect of a next generation. We're going to make it a big beefy boy that you can play on. What do you think about that, Hayo? You like the big beefy boy?
Rephrase this fucking question.
You rephrase it now.
Hayo, do you want to work out with your console and get just built?
Just get fucking
Ooh,
jacked.
I like the phrasing of that question. If this console is heavy and I have to lift it a lot for whatever reason, yes. Just
For
give me a
maximum
fucking brick.
gameplay.
That's
a real
disgusting.
gamer
I
right
can't.
there.
It's not transportable.
Mhm.
I gotta
I want a
hardwire
10-pound
it to my
console.
house. It just sucks so much energy. Awesome. Do I like the idea of them sort of doubling down on this, saying bump streaming and all that stuff? Hey, maybe this console, maybe all the SSDs and the rays and the lasers inside of it, let it stream really, really well. I have no idea what the difference between a computer and a console is. Maybe they...
Pro
maybe
tip,
this is
there's
like-
nothing different.
Oh, shit! So you could probably stream on Sony's thing just like all these other guys. When Sony's like, okay, now that we've seen Google and Microsoft shit the bed with their streaming stuff, we're going to do the exact same thing, but without screwing it up. Oh, and hey, look, here's our super powerful, heavy, beefy console that you guys can stream on. Yeah, we know you guys like the streaming. We know you guys like the not streaming. This thing does both, baby. Pick it up.
Okay. I'm not really sure if there was a point in that one, but you did get
I
it.
love the concept of a
There wasn't.
console you must bench.
You literally just said bench a console that makes you a real gamer.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't say the gamer part, but I do like benching consoles.
Fisher. One of the other things they talked about in this article is that the next gen, or at least the PlayStation, what we assume will be called the PlayStation 5, will in fact have the ability to go 8K. Considering that, as far as we're aware, there is no easy way for people to get if there aren't 8K monitors readily available to the public, does it even matter about 8K is what you say your console can and can't do?
This is a phenomena that I don't know who this turns on, but there's someone. These companies just love throwing bullshit new terms at you to show off how cool and fancy they are.
Hey man, they got that blast processing.
That's exactly what I was thinking. It's blast processing, parallax scrolling, ray tracing. It's got teraflops.
Yeah, teraflops is the old one.
Technobab. It's all technobabble.
Yep.
Like up until a year ago, it was frames. How many frames am I getting? Am I getting the max frames? What's my stable frame rate? No, this doesn't fucking matter. No one cares. Okay, no, here's the problem. Some people care. It's the same people that you don't want to talk to that are like, oh, I bought a 4K television. Look how nice Avengers looks on it. Oh, I bought the Lawrence of Arabia 4K edition. You want to watch a 3.5-hour movie that's not that good?
Whoa!
Whoa.
Yeah, I
4K.
went there.
Dang.
Remember the ending of
Well,
it.
they shot it in 4K.
Yeah, do you remember the ending of that one though?
No, I actually super don't. Does he die? It's a very long movie.
I think there's a voiceover. He became president of a frat.
What if just proves point, man?
He became president of England.
Not Arabia though.
I have been 100% attacked off my point, but no, this doesn't really matter, and I don't think no, because AKTVs are gonna happen in a year or two, and they'll be fucking $3,000 goddamn dollars, and to the average person, this won't matter. But gaming is an elitist thing, so to a very small select amount of people, this will be the deal breaker for them that they won't get the Xbox because if it's not an 8K, I'm not having it. But also Japanese people really don't give a shit. They don't play on giant TVs as it is. They're just not as readily available in Eastern countries. So I'd honestly, considering that Sony's core demographic is the East, I'm now doubling down on this is weird.
I don't know about that one being true.
Maybe not so much anymore. Definitely not much that was, in the PS1, PS2 era. But still, I mean, they sell at a higher percentage in Eastern countries than they do anywhere else.
I mean, they certainly way outperform Xbox in the East, but
yeah,
that's for obvious reasons.
And probably depending on the household, it outperformed Nintendo, but that's just probably a back and forth.
Yeah. Dapper. So we got Sony here. This is kind of what I was mentioning earlier. Sony's obviously doubling down on their big beefy boys. Xbox is putting it 1 foot in streaming and 1 foot in the beefy boys. Do you think that is...
Fuck off.
Do you think that's a better position to be in, or do you think it would be better for them to invest all in one or the other?
I think it's probably better to invest a little bit in both because it's giving you a fallback plan if streaming is not as successful as it could be. Everyone's getting into streaming right now because it sounds like such a good idea, but there's the real reality that I mean, I feel like it'd be unlikely, but it could completely flop as a concept overall.
Yeah.
I mean, Google Stadia could just crash and no one could give a shit about Xbox and everyone just wants to go back to their big beefy boys and gaming as usual and back to normal. So it's almost like, what is it? Jack of all trades is better than a master of none or
I think that's the actual phrase.
I think I butchered that somewhere along the way, but the reality is, if you're uncertain whether streaming is going to be successful as you think, but in case it is, you wanna jump in on that cash cow, it's probably not a bad idea to put some eggs in two baskets. It's basic diversification.
I like that. It's not a bad idea to put 2 eggs in 2 baskets. And
what are these phrases that are being used?
Also, I do want to go on record by saying that Dapper did get an extra point for using the phrase "beefy boys," but
why? Please don't.
means Hayo got it 16 fucking points.
Can I get that point taken away?
That means Hayo and Dapper are winning because Space Panda to Lucky over here.
Green. Hey, listen, I'm the fucking host. I can do what I want.
It's my show.
And last but not least, 8-Ball. Another thing that Mark Cerny talked about, which was in a different article, it wasn't released in the first one. He said, talking about the price, the speculated price of the PlayStation 5, he said, quote, "I believe that we will be able to release it at a suggested retail price that will be appealing to gamers in light of its advanced feature set." My question is, how pricey are we talking here? Are they going to go, full PlayStation 3 and drop it at $600 at launch and friggin' shock the world? Or are they going to somehow be able to get lower than that? Because if they're using this tech, people are like, I don't know, man.
All these famous numbers, I don't know. I think if I had to suggest a random number out of my head, it would be $350, give or take $50 either way.
You think they're going to be able to get it to $350?
No, but that's the optimistic. That's the very optimistic one. I think it's gonna be like $350, but like $50 either way. That'd be crazy. But that's the sale price. We got them. The big thing is, I've learned about the gaming community, besides them being terrible people with loud voices sometimes, is all the time.
Mm-hmm.
There is a person to buy anything. So there's whales that will show up to buy the most expensive thing to show that they have it and beat the other people who don't have it. It happens in gacha games. It happens with microtransactions. There are people who splurge on games. That is their big ticket item. Like there's just buying games, and then there's like, holy shit, I'm gonna buy everything about this game. I'm gonna buy the pre-order. I'm gonna buy the set when it comes out, the soundtrack, everything relating to this game. I'm gonna invest in it as much as I can. So there will be people who buy anything to do with anything that is said here because it's fancy or whatnot, and they'll show up with it. So this thing will sell.
I mean, there are the hardcore Sony ponies, you know.
Exactly. And there was one time, I'm going to compare it to, there was one time a car salesman wanted to sell me my car at the time, and the thing they tried to write on was secret securities. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? He's like, well, it keeps your car safe. I'm like, okay, good. I don't want that. Because like if you would have told me the actual thing instead of just secret security, it would have been more.
From what fucking werewolves?
Exactly. Secret security, man. I don't know what we're fucking hiding back.
Somebody tries to break in your car, a werewolf pops out of the trunk and eats them.
Somebody sees, you know, all of these fancy lingos, 8K, like you said already, Fisher, that people are going to buy it and just say like, hey, I got the better console. We should play on this. Bring all their friends over, showcase it, and even if it's only one person out of 3 or 4 that buy it. They probably won.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the PlayStation 3, when it did launch at 600, everybody was like, oh, fuck this shit, we're out. But eventually, now the PlayStation 3 has actually sold higher than the 360, so...
I find that bizarre.
Same. That seems mind-blowing to me.
Because I didn't buy a PS3 because I was like, that's insane. I can't believe how money.
I bought it used at the end of the generation.
PlayStation Network came with the PS. You didn't have to buy it separately at the time.
True.
Xbox Live, you had the input.
True.
And people didn't want to.
I will say, at the time, though, Xbox Live was way better than...
It was. It was better.
And now, granted, they've caught up now, but...
Yeah, the hack.
But now they also charge you for it. Hey, man.
You can't change your name.
But it was different.
This is why Nintendo has the premium live service. It's only $20. It's the best deal in the market.
And Blockbuster's still selling movies.
All 3.
I think there's only one left officially.
It's Alaska, right?
Yeah, let's see, it's the one in Alaska.
Anyways, I think that's gonna do it for the first half of the show. So, 8-Ball and Fisher King, it's time to go home and become a family man.
I was gonna do a thing where I tried to make you...
Final round. Fight.
Okay, and we are back in the final round with Dapper Dastard and Hio590. First topic, this one comes from Polygon. GameStop is now going to test out the idea of allowing game returns for equal store credit within 2 days of purchase. So essentially, they're starting this with just Days Gone. They're going to test it out. Basically, if you return the game for whatever reason within 2 days of you buying the game, you can get a full $59.99 store credit. Not cash, but store credit. So, Dapper Dastard, what's the worst that can happen?
The worst that?
I mean, is this a good idea actually, I'm coloring it.
This is really funny because right now it literally works for the game Days Gone and nothing else.
Well, they're testing it because if they made it available for every game,
right, it'd be ridiculous.
It'd be anarchy.
But only for the standard edition only for the standard edition. Within 2 days, for right now, a single game test.
Mm-hmm.
This is honestly pretty weird. I mean, I feel like people shopping at GameStop is a bit dying, and they've always.
It is.
I love the articles like, we're sticking true to our motto, power to the gamer, which is literally the dumbest thing ever because I don't think any gamer feels empowered going to a fucking GameStop then, trading in 6 games for like $3 in store credits. I feel real powerful there, GameStop, thanks. I don't know, it's nice, but it's also pretty dumb, and I mean, maybe if they implement this more broadly for more games, it may help out a little bit, but I don't know, a lot of times 2 days isn't really like enough time to know if you're gonna like a game or not, especially like, it basically says you have to buy this game and immediately go home and play it you can't buy it and play it on the weekend. You have to go home and play it really quickly.
I
so
wonder
you know if you want to return it or not.
Here's what I want to float to you. I wonder if it's possible. So they're doing this with just Days Gone. You go buy Days Gone. You come back. You within 2 days. You haven't finished the game, but you've sunk we'll say 16 hours in. You've been fucking grinding your ass on this game. You sell it back in, you take your store credit, go to the next GameStop, and just buy Days Gone again for the same fucking price. And then turn it back in again. Say then you've got 36 hours, you finish the game, and then you still have the store credit. I don't know if that could work, but...
One, they probably might have your account, in which case they notice that you did that.
No, they do have accounts, you're right.
Depending on your payment information.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't know if people have that much effort to go 2-day hopping to a bunch of different GameStops just to play a game all the way through. That seems like a lot of effort.
Hey man, $60. Kyle, give me your discussion on this one.
Let's have Hayo's thoughts on this.
Well, for starters, they've already essentially shit on any way for you to game the system because they said, hey, you only have the weekend that it's coming out to do this. So
I didn't know that.
Binge the game over that weekend, you just can't take advantage of this. Which is a very good challenge for a whole bunch of people because as gamers, we rise to the challenge. So we got to go in.
Gamers rise, man.
Fucking hate every second of it, but I gotta finish it because I'm getting my money's worth, which is to say my $60 of store credit. Go buy something else I don't really want to play from GameStop. Go get some candy. $60 worth of candy. That's really a only Rob move. I do that. I have done that. Let's not talk about that. So they go in, they binge this game, they feel awful the entire way through, they give it back, and that's a win. They did empower the gamer that day by giving them an impossible challenge that they rose up to take on.
You think this is gonna be financially good for GameStop?
I don't think it does anything for GameStop. Who's gonna take advantage of this? Who's gonna?
Somebody is, as you literally just said. Somebody will.
Well, okay. You got a couple degenerates who are gonna go hard on this game, and yes, I got my $60 worth. You've got people who don't look at what the game is beforehand. They pick it up and they're like, "Oh, this isn't a racing game. I thought it was a Forza. Here, you can have it back." The amount of money they're saving with this, they're still giving away $60 worth of something,
actual cash.
So it's not so I don't know. I think it's a very stupid idea. This isn't gonna say GameStop next quarter or whatever. Oh, our stock went up 50% because there's literally only one game. You got 2 days to play and return. We did it, guys. GameStop is back.
All right. I don't really know if I feel super strongly compelled, but I'm going to get that one to Hayo. The 1 or 2 jokes that I appreciated. So, next up, and I was going to do the thing again where I delay it, but I can't keep doing that. I got to break that habit. Next topic comes from Game Informer. Naughty Dog just shot the final scene of The Last of Us Part 2. I believe is the Neil Druckmann just put out a tweet saying finally got to shoot this scene today, and it literally just said the end. So we don't know. Maybe they've shot it out of order, so that means nothing. They could still be deep into it. But we've already had confirmation from some voice actor or some of the motion cap artists that they are done with they have wrapped their role for the show, for the game. I mean, so my question is then how far out is this? How, are we going to see this before the launch of next generation? Are we going to see, obviously Sony's not at E3 this year, but are we going to see a trailer for this before the end of the year? What kind of release window are we even thinking about? Haya, what do you think?
I don't know much about The Last of Us,
because we got, I think the first confirmation of this was 2 E3s ago, and then last year we had the gameplay trailer that looked pretty fucking savage.
There's an E3 every year, right?
Yeah.
When did the first Last of Us finish?
Last of Us Part 1? Yeah. If somebody in the chat wants to check that, but I want to say it was the end of, it would have been 2013. No.
Okay.
No, 2013.
Some years.
Sorry.
Yeah, No, The Last of Us released in 2013.
Fuck yeah, I'm good. What are you thinking? Because presumably they finished Uncharted 4 in, what was that, 2 years ago? 2006? I think it was 2017 was when Last of Us 4 dropped. So since then, they've been working on the game for at least 2 years. Presumably, they've had some team start working on it before that. I don't know. I'm getting bogged down in this. Give me your...
to say?
Yeah.
I feel like all the motion capture and stuff, that's not necessarily the easy part of the game, but most part, if you're able to say, hey, we finished all this part is done, that's not the part that's going to take you, that you're spending years and years on. You can get your actors in, say, hey, here's the script, we're going to knock this out in 3 months, and you're good to go. It's all the programming, it's getting it to work with your PS4, with your potential PS5, it's starting the marketing, it's bug fixing. All that stuff is what's going to take a long time, and that's the stuff that they're going to be in the month before it releases, like, crap, we got to fix a whole bunch of stuff that we really need 6 more months. We're going to have to ship a buggy game now. But at least we got our hype out. We said, we were finished with whatever. This is propaganda. This is pure propaganda. You start talking about, hey, we're finished with something. People start talking about your game. They go onto their game shows, their podcasts, and they say, hey, when do you guys think this game's coming out? This game's not coming out anytime soon, but people are talking about it. So that's a win. Marketing. We've done it. What's his name? Neil. Good work, Duckman. You did it.
Duckman.
You earned your paycheck by fucking saying we finished something that we could finish in 2 weeks if we fucking shat on all of our actors like crazy.
Okay.
So I got no idea, because this tweet means absolutely nothing. Them working on it for 5 years means absolutely nothing. Who even knows, man? It's all up in the air.
Dapper, any actual expectations from you?
I really agree with Hayo that this is definitely just an advertising bait. We just shot the scene. That's the end. I mean, does that mean the voice actors just did it? Was there actually development on the scene? Is that motion capture? It's so wonderfully vague in telling us nothing. And this probably doesn't. This most likely doesn't show any sign of actually being done with the game. I mean, in all honesty, you probably shoot the end before you shoot parts of the middle. I mean, I know that's how a lot of writing goes. You need to figure out your end, so even if it's written, you might want to do it in case somewhere down the line you feel like things in the middle need to get reworked.
Just removing this whole news article from it, how far into development do you think we are with Last of Us Part 2?
No, with how well The Last of Us 1 did, how critically acclaimed it was, I think they are going very slowly to ensure that people's expectations
are met.
Because I think, as we're learning with a lot of these big anticipated games, Kingdom Hearts issue with expectation building over time, Borderlands 3 is now going to face its meeting its expectations. So I think Last of Us Part 2 is probably still, I'm not going to say early, but we may see another. Honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if we don't see another trailer this year.
That's fair.
We might see a trailer next year and then get dropped early in the next gen cycle.
So you think we won't see this game until 2021? Is what you're saying?
It's possible.
Fair.
I think it's possible.
Fair.
I think it's possible you don't see this till 2021, because I think they want to make sure this deserves to be called The Last of Us Part 2.
Absolutely. I'm gonna give that one to Dapper. I think for reasons.
I agree with those reasons.
Yeah. And last topic of the week. This one comes from Twinfinite. The Xbox One S All Digital Edition, nicknamed by the internet the Xbox SAD, was revealed this week, costing an MSRP of $249.99. Literally, this is the same Xbox One S that costs $300 MSRP right now, that you can also find on Walmart.com for $200, but except it does not come with a disk drive. Still have a 1 terabyte hard drive inside, though. They did say that anytime there's a price drop in the regular Xbox One S, that this will drop with it. Exactly, it'll always be exactly $50 less. But do we think that this is a good price point? I think Dapper, you start this one.
This actually is an okay price point.
Okay.
If I was looking at things. So the Xbox One originally came out in 2013 at a $500 price point.
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation 3 came out in 2013 at a $400 price point.
Was the Xbox One $500 at launch?
That's what the most credible source on the internet, Wikipedia, is telling me.
Huh. Okay.
So I think PlayStation 2 currently you can get around $250-ish right now.
Sorry, PlayStation 4.
Yeah, what did I say?
2.
You can get, maybe you get. Yeah, you can get. I think the current PlayStation 4 Slim is sitting around like a 250, 260 mark.
Mm-hmm.
So when you really put it all together, yeah, technically you're taking away a disk drive, but
Mm-hmm.
I think at the end of the day, 250 is a reasonable price point.
Do you think? I guess my question is, do you think this is going to get new people jumping in?
Oh hell no!
Okay.
If you don't have an Xbox One, at this point, why is this the reason you suddenly want an Xbox One?
Mm.
You haven't bought it yet. You're not buying it because there's suddenly an all digital edition. This. If you want my answer to that question, no, this is stupid and pointless. The price is reasonable, sure, but why is this the reason I want an Xbox One if I haven't got one already? Spoiler alert, it's not.
Snape kills Dumbledore. Hio, what do you think about this one?
I think anytime you take away physical media from people, that's just dangerous. I got my laptop, who cares how many years ago. It turns out it didn't have a disk drive, and I was heartbroken because I only got this laptop because I wanted to play Battle for Middle-earth on the PC. Like 5 discs to install. Couldn't even... It's completely worthless to me now. But if you have a purely digital console, as soon as you're playing your favorite game, you're playing, give me a game.
Minecraft.
Halo.
Sure.
You're playing Minecraft. You're playing Minecraft Halo Edition.
Great.
And it's only digital. And they say, hey, we know it came with your console, but we're just kind of like, we didn't make a lot of money selling this, so we're just going to discontinue all the whatevers for it. And it's like, oh, shit. Now I just have a 1 terabyte brick, and it's not even as heavy as, like, the PS5, so I can't, like, lift it or anything. It's like, just fucking, it's not even good for a doorstop. I spent $250 on.
So you're saying it's because it's the least future proof. It's even more scary to buy.
Exactly. And where's the backwards compatibility? Well, I have all these games from all the other Xbox generations I have, or even my other Xbox. Let's say you have a regular Xbox One that's broken, so you're like, I'll just get the cheap one. Oh, there's no disc drive, so I just can't play 75% of my library anymore, and potentially 75 to 100% of my library in the future when they're just like, we don't. We had a weird breakup with the developer who made this game you like, so we're gonna have to discontinue it from everything Microsoft and Xbox. Sorry about that. It's dangerous.
I wanna jump because I think actually. I want to bring in the tiebreaker question for this week because it's so fucking tasty. It's the memes and dreams question of the week. This one comes from Kotaku. Pepsi is apparently considering an advertising campaign in which they will launch a billboard into space, which you will be able to see from Earth, that will defend, in their words, quote, the most unfair stereotype of the century, gamers.
Oh, God.
This is another quote, and this comes directly from Pepsi. Quote, the time has come for change. It's time to say stop to that disrespect and misunderstanding of gaming culture. To get rid of unfair stereotypes. End quote. I don't care who takes this one first. It's whoever can fucking dunk on this the hardest. This is a sports dunk competition.
I got this.
Okay, hi, I'll take it away.
Walk outside. It's a beautiful sunny day. You're loving life. Sun's out, guns out. I'm gonna go outside, get that beautiful tan because I don't have as much melanin as Big Rob. We're gonna start to match him. Ah, shit! You gotta cut. The shade comes out. It's the Gamers Rise Up satellite. And Pepsi is shot into space, and it's saying, "Be nice to gamers." And you have a heart attack because you just, oh, what the cringe fuck is that? Everybody looks at you. They're like, oh, there's that shitty ass gamer and his sign blocking out the sun. No sun for us today, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, gamer. And suddenly you're crucified. They hang you up in your front lawn. Boom, they nail you to the tree. It's awful because Pepsi put their fucking gamer sign in the sky. What the fuck were they thinking?
Well, they haven't done it yet, but they were considering it. Dapper, do you think this is the next in a great line of Pepsi's historically good marketing campaigns?
Coca-Cola announces it's going to launch rival satellite that just says "fuck gamers."
Oh, that's a good move. I might have to drink more Coca-Cola if that happens.
I might have to drink more Coca-Cola if that happens. Man.
Right next to the Pepsi side. Fuck
Like, it's too good because you can't write this, but this is real. Somebody...
It's not an Onion article.
No.
This is not an Onion
Somebody,
article.
like, they like, these are very, like, this is far in the talks of, like, something possible to happen. And they were talking about the logistics, like, they're like, oh, we would get 30-foot, like, LED sails to, like, make each, like, letter and shit. Fucking... Shit's wild. And again, I can't get over, quote, the most unfair stereotype of the century, end quote. Like, what the fuck's Pepsi?
I mean, these are the people that thought Kylie Jenner could solve police brutality with a Pepsi can.
Very true.
So clearly
Very
they're
true.
stupid as fuck.
You know...
It's never in question that they are just stupid as hell.
Thank you very much for this. This was very fun. I think, this week's winner is going to be Hayo, particularly for the great gamer purge caused by Pepsi. I think is a very hilarious future. So let's. Hayo, are you ready for your minute to win it?
Hold on, let me.
Oh
hang
no!
up on that call I just got.
Take it away.
So there's something called colorblind racism, and this is really only a thing if somebody ever talks to you about race and you're like, oh, I don't see race. That would fall under colorblind racism. The idea that everybody is the same is throwing away a history of oppression and victories and culture that comes with being a person of color. So if you're like, oh, we need to talk about police brutality or the treatment of people along the South, along the border or something like that, you're like, oh, everyone's just people, I don't really see color, then you're saying everything that's happening now isn't happening in a vacuum. It's happening because of people's color. It's happening because somebody was thinking of color angrily and they were saying, I want those people of color to be less than, marginalized, oppressed in some way, shape, or form. So in order to be better than that, you have to recognize people's color. You have to say, hey, I acknowledge that you are Black, Hispanic, Latino, Asian, and because of that history, this is why X happened years ago, Y happened years ago, Z is happening now. And that's only comes by acknowledging, hey, you look like this, and you came from this, and because of that, X, Y, Z, boom.
Heck yeah. Once again, Hayo coming in strong with his last round diatribes. Thank you for that. That was good. That was very good. Well, that's going to do it for this week of Around the Monitor. I think this is a pretty solid episode. Had some good discussion and some great memes and dreams. The final question there. But we're going to do what we always do at the end of every episode and talk about plugs. Before I give the chance to anybody else, though, I want to mention once again the video I just put up on the Around the Monitor YouTube channel. Give that a check out if you haven't. It is about my predictions for Xbox's E3 2019, and gotta say, I'm pretty fucking hyped for what Xbox has to say. But let's send it over to the guest, 8 Ball. Anything to plug this week?
We're
real quick too. You guys got to a final round where Pepsi and gaming was mentioned in a conversation, and you didn't bring up Pepsi, man.
Oh, damn.
Like, come the fuck on.
Ooh, they got you on
Know
that
your
one.
roots, boys.
Know your
Know your
roots. I don't know if you can say that in light of what we just talked about.
If you're gonna talk about gamer culture, talk about real gamer culture like Pepsi, man.
Pepsi, man. Damn it.
Pepsi Man.
Should, I don't fucking know when it's coming out, but it's
Talk to me, dog. Talk to me, dog.
I'll talk to you after. It's in the works.
Dapper. Anything to plug this week?
So last weekend I went to the North American League of Legends Championship,
Right.
and it was really fun.
How those?
Live esports is actually a really good experience, and this isn't really a plug exactly, but if you ever find the esports event near you, you should go see it just to experience it one time. It's fun.
Go to BlizzCon. Guarantee it. And you can have fun
That
there.
wasn't what he recommended, but okay.
That doesn't count.
Fisher, anything to announce from you?
No, I might be working in television again soon.
All right.
I don't fucking
Can
know.
finally-
The person who's interviewing me is fucking always busy, so who knows?
Mm-hmm. Making those dollars, those television dollars.
Big TV bucks.
Hayo, anything to plug from you?
I haven't been streaming lately. I might. No, I'm actually not even going to promise anything. I got a few irons in the fire at the moment.
Oh.
But it's unfortunate we didn't have this episode, 5 days ago. But no, nothing really to plug. Same stuff as usual. Check out my SoundCloud. I don't make music, but I reblog good music. Check out my likes.
What's your SoundCloud Hayo590?
Yeah, High 5 now. Hell, check out my YouTube music playlist. Same thing. I don't make music. I create nothing. I hate creating shit. But I like looking at other people's shit and hoarding it for myself.
God, the world needs more people like you, Hayo.
You're goddamn right.
That's what I always say. But that's going to do it again for this week. Thank you so much for listening or watching. But until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you. This has been Around the Monitor.